Alrighty, we are good, everybody. Let's D&D.
All right, let's go. Okay, we find ourselves with the party again. Basically, we've had a lot of development since the last session, but it really comes down to the party have reunited again within the Foolish Captain Tavern. We've had numerous interactions amongst the group. Rian being reunited with Jarvis, Bo talking with Beauregard, the last remaining miner, within the bar area. Claude really keeping an eye out, focusing, staking out the tavern, looking down towards the street. At the moment, probably his attention focused towards his family home, the Marcel mercantile family home, and also had interactions including Logan surviving his brutal fall, but beautifully taking out our ever-present Niall the assassin threat. For now, we shall see. as well as Viator and Jarvis having a bit of an interaction as well in terms of a knowing history or a knowing past with each other. We're going to return to this moment with Tommy, who has successfully escaped from the cage at the basement area of the Marcel mercantile home. Made his way out towards basically a minor sort of sewer system or escape route, and just decided rather than trying to balance along the logs to get out, he's just going straight into the water, climb himself out of there, and from there he's noticed particular developments such as the Howling Boar ship has left the port area but has turned itself so that it's parallel to the land of the water area, and sees the foolish captain. Looks in through the window, sees Claude basically quite, obviously focused on the street area, and walks into the tavern. And all you hear at that point is a little bit of a squelching, and those tavern doors go squeaking, as go. And once again, just like session one, Tommy walks into a tavern completely drenched. And this is where we bring ourselves back.
Tommy, as he came out of the water, he notices he was at the tavern. Like, he didn't really know that he was in. He doesn't know what house he was in or how he got put into a basement because his head was covered. So he literally just came out, noticed the tavern from coming into town before, and just basically kind of wanted to go in there, thinking that he could get lost among the crowd because he doesn't want to get instantly captured again. He has no clue where anybody's at. So him coming in through the doors, soaking wet, and just kind of slowly looks around and sees his party members at different tables, and Claude standing at the window, and he's just like, after everything I've been through, you guys are at the bar having drinks without me. And just sits down at a table and is just just kind of trying to clean himself up a little bit from the goop and wetness that might be on him.
Before anyone has a chance to react, all you hear from the bar, you hear a slightly familiar voice that is Beauregard from the bar, drunkenly going, shut up.
Tommy doesn't do anything to it. He's just he feels safe but on edge. It's nice to have my party around me again, but man, he's on edge from what just happened to him.
Yeah. Very good.
Where the hell did you come from?
I don't know what happened. They had a bag on my head and they took me down into this cellar place, and there was cages. They put me in this cage, and they're transporting people. I don't understand. They were gonna send me somewhere, but me, I found a way out easily, of course, and I had to get out of there. But I don't have my stuff on me. I don't have my sword. I don't have my pistol. It's just me, and I'm just happy to be out of that cage. Where have you guys been?
You were at we were trying to figure out how to get to you. You were at the manor. I think you were at my place, my manor. We were trying to figure out how to sneak in there.
Tommy just kind of pauses for a moment, and he does kind of his eyes shift to the other members to see if because instantly there's like a distrust. He's like, when I was in his head, he's like, wait, I was at your house, so you're part of what happened to me, but yet you're standing here with the group still. So he does like a quick like shooting looks at everyone else. Can I do, or if anyone wants to give me a percent, do I get anything from anybody of like I'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, so let's go with, so Claude's the first one that sort of kind of heightened your senses in that sense. So you can roll in an insight check. You're basically trying to get a feel of what is Claude's deal here.
Yeah.
So insight is not necessarily a like a truth serum. It's more of a, from your perception, how much do you sort of believe, or how confident are you in your assessment of it?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah. So when you're looking at Claude, what are you trying to sort of convey? You're still sort of looking out the window. Yes, Tommy's walked in here. You're at the window, almost kind of scoping out, still looking down towards the street, still trying to process everything that's been happening, or these, hints and rumors and flurries and all this sort of stuff that's going on in your head. What's sort of been projected from you?
Claude's shocked and concerned. He didn't think that Tommy would make it out on his own. He was fully prepared to like have to either fight his way in or sneak his way in. Okay. He's all right.
I was going to interject a little bit. And he said, Tommy, like, we were trying to track you down. Logan kept track of the group that had you, and we were right behind you until we got attacked by Nile. Luckily, we talked to some citizens or the one a vendor, and he said he saw you taken into the Brightwood Manor, or the Marcel's home, Marcel's. And we instead of charging headlong, we had to figure out what we wanted to do. We had an idea. Who were those people? You seem, they acted awfully familiar with you.
That is my former crew and Captain Charles Zane.
Yep.
And
Captain Zane.
I've been with them since I was a teenager, until we had disagreements on where our intentions and purposes were going towards.
Did you know any? You act like you didn't know about them taking people. If you were with them since you were a kid, you didn't know anything about that?
It seems different than what it was. We were pirates. We did bad things to people that usually deserved it, but this seems different. It seems like we're almost like you're trading goods now. Is they're sending people off for stuff? That part I don't understand. I don't know. Now I can't say I'm a church boy, but I can't hear if you were saying something.
No.
DM.
Your mic cut out, Radishin.
Yeah. So Tommy kind of just throws out there, like, they're my former crew, but we had differences, and I felt like they were gonna send me off. I don't know where or for how long, but
such a strong beef with you. They seemed like they were gonna kill you.
I would, if we're given the opportunity, I'd kill him too.
Claude notices Tommy's hand. It was your hand that got burned, right, by the brand?
I didn't. He didn't actually get to brand me. He tried to.
Didn't you? Didn't you, when you stole it? Didn't you take damage?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. You're right. Okay. So yeah.
Claude sees the burn. And he's.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Tommy's probably like rubbing his hand, but not because of the conversation. Is not paying attention to him actually, like, messing with his hand because he's in thought. But yeah, you can see some burning on his.
Claude's gonna take your hand and use lay on hands if you let him to heal 5 points of damage.
Yeah, and it's almost like a like it said, Tommy was unsure and kind of questioning, but you doing that is almost like an olive branch without saying anything. So Tommy feels better about you again. Like he was a little concerned that you were part of the Marcel family messing with things, but so how much did you heal for?
Concern is making sure that Tommy is healed. 5 points.
Thank you.
And I also want to walk over to you. I bring a drink, put a hand on your shoulder, and just say, "Did you kill any of those other bastards?"
Didn't even have the opportunity, but Tommy definitely takes whatever drink you give him and throws it back.
Glad to see you again, buddy. We'll get him.
It's good to be seen.
I forgot I had WhatsApp
Oh.
on here.
Oh,
I heard it lit up.
Anything?
yeah.
Okay, so what happened was I have no fucking idea. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. It just decided to not
You killed
work.
the lava monster.
Yeah, dude, you missed a lot. It was pretty
Took
awesome.
over.
There were
Love,
so
love.
many nat 20s rolls.
We had a
and
full
just trust
montage
the
episode without you while you were gone. We're suddenly so
All right.
much richer. We have +4 to all of our weapons. You wouldn't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So so Bo, basically what I was saying was, do you want to do an insight check on Tommy? Just to
Yeah,
get
sure.
an idea of how you feel about what he's saying.
Yeah, especially because it's like he's coming out throwing these.
Yeah.
Can I counter with deception?
I mean,
You're trying to deceive.
wait, you're
yeah.
deceived me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn. Well,
Tommy, yeah, I want to see.
it's a 7, so
Okay.
I got a 16. So
Cool. Tommy, what do you want to convey to Bo?
pretty much
Like,
how
what
I
are you trying to get across?
pretty much how I said it is I said I wasn't a good person without saying what the bad things were that I did. You know what I mean? I do.
Yeah.
The point that I am making is that I'm not part of this trading people, but that part I am not a part
Well,
of.
yeah,
But we,
I would,
as
yeah,
far
I
as
got this.
far as doing things to people, I was part of a crew that has
Yeah.
roughed some people up.
And Bo's he really likes being a part of the group, and he like really wants to, do what's
He wants
best
to
for the
believe
group.
him? Yeah.
And so like he's given Tommy the benefit of the doubt, especially because I mean Tommy has a point. Like the Marcels took. I mean it's apparent that Marcel's kind of took Claude, so I'm kind of giving them both the benefit of the doubt right now.
It's kind of like there's no perfectly innocent party in all of this, and
And we're just trying to.
Yeah, you're probably picking up that Tommy himself. As far as you're concerned, Tommy believes he's a good person. That's your sort of insight on that. So you're not really picking up too much sort of hesitation on it. The way Tommy has conveyed that is that you believe that he believes that he's a good person.
Yeah, perception is the real truth. He
That's
believes it.
Okay.
It's also
Cool.
kind of one of those things that he's been a pirate since he's been a teenager. It's the only life he knows. So he doesn't necessarily
There's no
know
perspective.
exactly.
There's
Yeah,
lack of
he needs
perspective.
more.
Yeah.
He needs more time of not being around that crew. I think
Yeah.
to truly understand himself
Yeah.
of how bad it was.
His moralities. Yeah, his
Exactly.
moralities and principles are built around it.
Yeah. So
and
when you're
even other parts, even other parts of Tommy, you've perspective in different ways from other ones as well. That kind of for your character as well. So so as far as Tommy is concerned, that's his benchmark of what is good and bad and indifferent and etc. Okay, fantastic. Regan, you're in the bar. Tobin is there beside you. You're still right beside Jarvis. Jarvis is kind of looking around him, but he's still very much concerned talking with you guys as you basically traded showing off scars to each other. His was more uniform. Yours was more sort of erratic, almost like a strike of some sort or an impact of some sort. So what are you up to at the moment?
Rian is just petting Tobin, trying to hide all of the emotions that just happened, but also all of the emotion of Tommy walking back in. And while she's petting Tobin, she kind of you can't really tell, but that she points a finger at him, just like at Tommy, and casts message, and just tells him that I'm glad you're okay, but she won't make eye contact with him, and you can see like one tear coming down.
Oh wait, you get this basically almost like a voice in your head. You recognize to be Rian's voice, but you can't see her, so it's not like lip reading or anything. You're not even quite sure exactly where it's come from, but you do know it is hers. And for all the teasing and the sloppy sailors that have come from before, this voice that's in your head of hers is quite profound and probably demure compared to other ways that she has interacted with you vocally so far.
Yeah, Tommy tries like among some of the drink that Telemus brought over to him. He takes a drink and kind of looks over, but notices she's not making eye contact, so he goes back to he looks, kind of nods to himself, and then keeps on sipping his drink.
Cool. Logan, how are all of your bones feeling after falling from the rooftop on top of an assassin?
But he's hanging in there.
Yeah.
He's just sitting down and stroking his cloak.
Yeah. What you notice as well is basically anyone who's looking towards Logan actually notice that there's one end of the cloak that's actually flipped up behind you and is actually kind of stroking your hair as well.
Aww.
Yeah. So it's stroking your hair, and every so often when you kind of feel like you need it, it kind of just snugs in a little tighter around you. It's almost like a blanket hug, just kind of squeezing in on you, which you seem to appreciate, but also is hurting all of your bones whenever you get squished in. So yeah,
Aww,
it's like someone giving you.
I picture evil mastermind just like stroking a cat kind of thing, like.
Imagine his face is almost more like giddy.
Yeah, he's excited about it.
Back, yeah. And then every so as it squeezes, give him a squeeze. Fantastic. Logan, is there anything you want to do when you're in there? Are you just sort of more contemplating the fact that what was going through my head as I shoulder charged a near undead assassin off a rooftop? Are you looking to speak to anybody? Or are you just more sort of collecting your thoughts?
Collecting my thoughts. Go with that.
Cool. Tell, you had your interaction with Jarvis. You came over when Tommy came in, and Tommy's basically borrowed your drink. Tommy took it as you brought him over a drink. He's just borrowed your drink. What are you up to at the moment, or what are you thinking of doing?
Just greeting him, sticking with him, making sure he's okay, and just reassuring him that we were coming for him, and just trying to make him feel more comfortable with us.
Okay. Anybody want to sort of take the lead on anything in the bar at the moment, or is there anything that people want to sort of explore or talk about or talk to?
Bo would like to approach Jarvis and ask him if he came here with Rusty.
Yeah. So you're walking over there. As you're walking over towards the table where Jarvis and Rian are, the first person you're going to walk behind is Rian. So she's on the near side of you. And do you want to sit opposite Jarvis? Do you want to sit on the other side of Jarvis? What are you sort of thinking? Like, just to have an idea of sort of how public or private is this conversation you want to have with them?
I mean, I don't think it needs to be. Do you mean like private from our party members, or private?
Yeah. I just want to get that idea from you. I don't want to be like, I have a big loud conversation. I mean, I was like, actually, no, I was like whispering and wanted to.
Nah, it's gonna be just average. No, it's gonna be casual.
Yeah.
So
okay. So so you basically walk on and imagine Jarvis and Rian, they've got their back towards the bar area. There's more of that sort of like bench sitting on the opposite side of them. You can take a seat on the opposite side of that table, looking at the two of them.
I'd like to take a seat across from him. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Rian is there, basically still head down. Tobin is at the side of basically just leaning up against her leg. And Jarvis is on the other side. So what do you want to say, Jarvis?
Jarvis, did you come here with Rusty?
Yeah. Rusty was. It was the two of us. We had an idea that Rusty had his own things to investigate, but to be honest, Rusty and I have kind of come from a similar story, as you can see in terms of how this world has left its mark on us, quite literally. So we suspected that what you were going to get into would coincide, but we kind of had our own reasons for coming as well. We're not surprised coming across you guys, but we were coming here for our own reasons as well.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you showing up. At least I appreciate you showing up. Rusty helped us out for a moment. Do you know how to get in touch with him in case we were needed to get out of here?
Yeah. Basically, we've got a safe house. Nothing fancy, just an area that we can lay low on when we're in Daggerford. So he's probably just trying to recover in some way there. I came in here because I saw Rian, so obviously keeping an eye on her. So I was going to meet him after this anyway. It's not actually too far. It's maybe a street or two away. So
would you mind if we came with you? We need a place to lay low for a moment and figure out our next move, I think.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a bit tight. It's not made generally for larger parties, but I'm sure you guys we've all slept in worse conditions, so there's no harm in that.
As long as it's okay with everybody else, Yeah.
Well, the offer's there. If you guys want to take on it, Rusty's probably there as well. If you want to go, might be an idea for me to come with you guys. Just secret knocks and security systems we have in place to make sure that those who enter are supposed to be there. But yeah, there's no harm in you guys coming along.
Yeah. Bo notices. He notices Rian quite sullen. And he's gonna Rian. Would that be all right with you? And you seem.
I don't care what we do anymore. I just want to. I can't. There's too many things happening right now. I'm just going with the group. I can't deal with this.
Yeah. No, there's too much stuff going on. It really seems like our plate's full. I don't know.
Rian's gonna look at Jarvis though and be like, "Do you happen to know anything about this crab? That was a mountain."
About the mountain crab. Yes. So basically, well, the legend or the story of it is that Aid. Aid is one of the four siblings, one of the four forces of nature. So I get the feeling that most times when you see natural disasters, there's basically been an element of it's a small dispute between one of the siblings. We saw earlier on that almost looked like firestorm in the air, and the fact that Aid is walking away from that lets me think that he has taken his opportunity. Cassera, the disturbance she's went completely off the reservation. Something has happened over these last few years that has given her an additional energy or an additional infusion of something that has allowed her to step beyond the normal boundaries of nature. So that's why it's becoming more prominent. And if anything, I hope it's a case that nature is just trying to reset itself, and that's why we're seeing Aid there. But it's not like we're on speaking terms. So, I know there's two other ones. I know there's also a forest god called Danu. Generally a very peaceful and thoughtful entity.
I didn't
doesn't
like him.
You wait.
We met.
Yeah,
you met?
We came across Daniel.
Okay. Were you at least respectful?
Most of us were.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at Rian.
I'm gonna look. Jarvis is gonna look right at Rain and go, Rain, were you
There
respectful?
was nothing but respect.
Can you roll deception, please? Can you roll it with disadvantage because you're very clearly not putting on any sort of face of things? Jarvis has a good idea what the answer is already, but it's just going to be how obvious it is on your face.
16.
Okay. He's going to let it slide. He's going to go, okay. There's been a lot of stuff going on. She's taken a lot of information, but she seemed pretty certain that she maintained a level of respectability.
Rian doesn't even think that she was disrespectful.
I think that's fine. It's a case of you believe it, so therefore it makes it a very convincing statement.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's fine. So Jarvis is, as far as Rian is concerned, she was respectful. As far as Jarvis knowing what Rian is like, he knows that that's a different benchmark altogether. Okay, which is fine. So there's Danu, there's Aid, there's Kisera, and there's Sid. Sid is the air force. But most times when there's a disruption like that, generally one of the forces would sort of like briefly take the lead, and the other one would sort of disappear for a while, almost like a reset. So not sure we're going to see Sid for a while, but it is currently on the move, and I have to suspect Kisera has something to do with his actions.
So you're saying that creature itself is Aid?
Yes.
Well, you got to remember, Claude.
Holy shit!
Danu was remember how he made his entrance?
Yeah.
Forest dragon.
Right.
Yeah.
And he transformed. So I mean, there's
fucking crab.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that it's not actually that big.
Well, we gotta get close, right?
I mean, seems kind of like you and Tommy got some things to resolve here first, though.
Yeah, I'm just intimidated.
Well,
I agree. We need to regroup. We probably should get Tommy out of the open. I think if they were to find him again, things would not go as well as last time, and they didn't go well last time.
Well, to be fair, they were holding Tommy as hostage last time. I think we were doing fine without.
Getting our asses
before
kicked,
that.
I'm gonna lie.
Oh, so you do fine without Tommy? Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey, I'm just saying they used you as a bargaining chip. It was the only thing that stopped us. We were.
Oh, excuse me
You're
for
making
getting
some
captured.
Yeah. Also forgetting the fact that he kind of sacrificed and let himself go and did tell you to go away and to make sure you were safe. But gratitude. Okay. So yeah. So basically, Jarvis is over there with Rian and Bo, and Tell is with Tommy. Claude, you're still at the window. Logan is basically recovering, just off to the side, relatively close to the table with Rian and Jarvis and Bo at the moment. Okay, Tommy and Tell, and you guys are probably the ones nearest to the door. Claude, you're sitting at the window. What do you want to do?
Has there been any movement from the manor?
No.
Nobody's
Not at the
coming
moment.
around.
The last thing you saw in the previous session was Rickard briefly coming out, looking kind of nervous and anxious, taking a look around, whatever, and then kind of scuttling back in. So you can get you would sort of know your brother better than everybody. You can tell he's very distracted. He's not quite sure exactly what's happening. He hasn't always been the quickest decision maker anyway. So it's you're not quite sure exactly what's happening with him.
Well, we're all back together. Should we? I heard something about a safe house. Should we make a move?
Make a move, as in to the safe house?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea. And then from there we can. Do you guys want to leave?
Rest up,
Follow
plan.
Yeah, what time of day is it right now?
I mean, we started this whole thing in the morning, so I'm sure.
I think it's like early. I think it's like early afternoon by the time Tommy was sort of taken away, the scuffle at the port side, and his ultimate escape, as well as the fracas with Niall.
So
Do we have
Tommy,
a sense of how close this thing has moved to the city? The monster?
Yeah.
It's
Because a lot of time has passed.
Yeah. Surprisingly, not that much time has actually passed. But this thing, the perspective is really messing with your head. You can tell it is getting closer, and something should not look that big, and yet be that far away. So the perspective is really sort of messing with you as well. You can still, a little bit of a thud, a little bit of a ripple in the ground as it's coming along. You can't gauge. It's just beyond your sort of perspective of what speed is this thing going? What distance is it between here and there? It's not like if you were looking at a horse and cart, you could get, or when you saw Rickard and the soldiers coming towards Flattery, you could have an idea if they're that far away. They're on foot. It's probably going to take X amount of hours. This is just messing with your perspective. It is surprisingly big for how far it is still away. So.
If you all think there's enough time.
I mean, I think we gotta. Yeah, it seems like. I mean, Logan probably needs a rest. Claude,
Please.
took a good beating at the port.
Kill me.
You seem like you've taken a beating to the mind. So, and Tommy, Tommy, I don't know what kind of hell you went through. I mean, but it seems like we need to take a beat. So I vote we go.
I think even if we wanted to go straight there, we'd still have to charter a boat or something. We probably need to find somebody to take us across the water to get there. Either way, we want to get Tommy out of the open in case they start looking for him. Nobody's come out yet. I'll point out to the group. I haven't seen anybody leave, so maybe they don't know he's gone yet, but I have a feeling that if they wanted him that bad, they find out he's gone, they're going to come looking for him.
I am Team Safe House.
All right.
Team Safe.
Safe House. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Jarvis at that point didn't really need much more incentive than that, but you can see him getting up quickly, and he's going to put his arms sort of either side of Rian's shoulders just to try to guide her to stand up. But he knows not to be too forceful because she's generally being a bit skittish. So you can see this is a little bit out of his sort of natural way of managing Rian. But he's going to sort of guide her to stand up. Rian, are you going to go along with Jarvis's hands, or are you
She's confused.
resistant? Yep.
She doesn't. She's not used to this.
Yep.
With that dynamic with Jarvis, and just looks over. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But she's rising as she's saying that. It's like this is odd.
Yeah. With that reaction, Tobin has sensed your hesitation to someone putting their hands on you, and he stands up and he's going to growl at Jarvis. He goes, the haunches are up. He's sensing your hesitation to being touched, even though he was there. So he's picking up on that energy. She doesn't like being touched. This person's touching her, and I like her.
Tobin, it's okay, I guess. I think. I don't know.
Okay. So basically you're being led to your feet. Bo, you see Jarvis kind of lifting up Rian as well. You thinking sort of safe house as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Bo's into it.
Logan, you see them getting up. I imagine you're going to get up as well. That sort of time.
Let out a pained groan as I stand up.
That's exactly. Just, like turning 30, just living life. So yeah. So
Wow.
I say that as a 38-year-old, so I'm well onto the other side of that. So don't you worry. I'm in the same amount of pain every day as Logan. Okay, Claude, you see a bit of movement. People are sort of standing up at the moment. How resistant are you to take your eyes off the window, or are you sort of ready to kind of make a move?
Yeah, I would rather make a move before any of the pirates start making their move.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Right. Okay. And Tommy and Tell, you're near the entrance. You kind of see everyone standing up, making their way towards the entryway. You just gonna scoot on with them, or what are you thinking?
Tommy makes sure to finish his drink, turn the cup upside down on the table, and gets up. He's ready to be anywhere but here. So
as you're making your way towards the door, Bo, you hear a voice from the bar area. Goes, "Oh yeah, run away! Again, you come in and mess everything up, and just run away. You son of a bitch."
Oh, everything's gonna be all right. We're gonna get it. We're gonna make things right for you, buddy.
As soon as you started to talk, you just heard a big thud as his forehead just hit the bar. He just went straight out for the count.
And that guy, he's been through a lot. Everybody's been through a lot.
I'll put a couple of coins on the bar top for his drinks.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's been tough for this guy.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So Jarvis is kind of in the middle of this pack because he's still more, first and foremost, he's shepherding Rain. You can kind of tell that is his sort of general priority in most cases. But you can also see a little bit of skittishness because he wants to get off the sort of main busy street. So he's immediately going to turn left and then left again down sort of a smaller alleyway. And as you're sort of walking along, he's looking over his shoulder, a couple of turns left and right, and basically you can just see a beautiful hotel in front of you. And as you start to think, oh, well, it's maybe not as bad as I thought, he does like an immediate 180 turn around the corner into a wee dingy doorway that just opens up and squeaks slightly, and there's a thin corridor of stairs just up onto a landing. And as he approaches the door, this is the first time he takes his kind of hands away from Rain, and you can see him kick the bottom of the door, knock the top of the door, knock the middle of the door, and kick the bottom of the door again. And then you hear it. Door opening, and you don't see anyone in it, but you can tell that behind the door, the only wee clue is that there's a ginger tail sticking out around the corner of the door because someone's basically standing behind the door as they're opening it. But there's a small ginger tail sticking out around the corner, and Jarvis basically brings Rain straight in. There is one set of bunk beds in this place, and then like just bare wooden floors. The windows are boarded up. There's like a sink that like it's as bare as you like.
Rian tripped a little, getting shepherded in by Jarvis, and has to catch the headdress that she's still wearing and just center it again.
Uh-oh.
Still wearing that the horn thing from the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never took it off, I don't think. I think we lost Radishing's mic again. Unless I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you make your way to the safe house. Rain, last thing I heard was Rain almost tripping when she came in, but fixed up her headdress. And as you kind of coming in, basically as soon as the last person walks into the room, Rusty basically shuts the door quickly, sets up. Locks on this door are probably the newest looking part of this entire place. So it's the part that's actually being prepared. It's not rough and ready like everything else is. So you can tell they've invested in the security of this. And when you take a closer look around the place, the boarded up windows, the nails are relatively new on it, and there's very almost strategic cracks in between them. So you can tell this is very much like a lookout spot for these guys as well, and they're able to see down multiple corners. One of the corners you can look down and sees right down to the port area. So right out onto the water, you can see it's still a little bit of hustling and bustling, and you can see way out in the distance the Howling Boar ship, as I said, just with its side to the port. So you can't see the Marcel's home from here because almost it's like around the corner to the right from where you would be, just based on the positioning of the buildings. But you can see the port area and you can see people walking around. So early afternoon, Jarvis is going to take a suggestion that everyone gets a rest. Rusty is kind of slightly limping, kind of holding on to his side a little bit. You can tell, like, anytime he breathes, it's a little bit, it's quite tight, and he's still got a few sort of scratch marks around his throat where he was held by Niall at the time. And so Jarvis is very much going to suggest people get a rest. Rian, you're basically being directed over towards the bottom bunk. So even before anyone else gets ready to sort of suggest he's going to do his thing, he's going to basically put you on the bottom bunk and just kind of try to almost lay down, same way that you would like a child who doesn't want to take a nap. You know, he's trying to make it your idea, but he's really trying to put you down and get the sort of light cover over that before you can sort of really object. Do you want to fight back on that, or are you more sort of like verbally, like in your face, looking resistant to it?
Yeah, I'm just still giving him a side eye.
Yeah.
Rather confused.
Yeah. Rather confused, but not really fighting back. Kind of like as I said, the toddler that doesn't want to take a nap, but you're lying down. Okay. Right. Anybody else? What do you want to do? Like, is there anything you want to discuss at the moment? Or are you going to sort of look to take a rest? Let's say you're at about sort of 1:30 at the moment. If you were to take a long rest, you'd be early dusk, sort of 8:30, 8:30, 9:30. So Jarvis is maybe suggesting if you want to make a move, it might be better under a little bit of cover of darkness, or and try to see what we want to do in the morning.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Bo's gonna change into his jammies, and then call dibs on top bunk and nimbly jump up there with his loot.
Okay. Anybody contesting Bo for top bunk privileges?
Well, he's going for it. Like,
yeah, you're going for it. But can anybody want to react to it?
I would like to fight you for top bunk.
Yeah.
No,
come off.
No.
Okay, Bo. To get the top bunk, you have to describe what your jammies look like.
Oh, they're it's a green plaid. Yeah.
Green onesie. Is there like a hood on it?
Oh no, it's 2-piece. Like, shirt, bottoms.
Yeah.
No socks, no hat.
You have the hat with the long tassel on it.
No. I'm not Ebenezer Scrooge.
Too cool for that. Okay.
Dickinson's. No,
cool.
I'm just gonna. And I'm gonna jump on jump on top of the bunk that Rian's.
Yeah. Yeah. Just as Rian was about to drop off to sleep, you just hear a sudden like bouncy woof as Bo uses your bed now down near your feet to spring up onto the top bunk. And you look up, and the bed mattress, the wires there, they're really old wires, so they're kind of like bulging down towards yourself there. But Bo's not particularly big at all, so you can tell that these springs are really quite weak, and they're really sort of like Bo's there.
Good thing Claude didn't, or Tommy didn't go up there.
Rian's gonna try to push the springs back up.
Whoa, what are you doing down there? Come on. Trying to relax.
You're like almost touching my face.
Well, maybe here's that better, and he scooches over more towards like the side, towards the wall.
Logan, as the person who was wincing every step of the way and on the way up the stairs, and you see that Bo has just taken the bed, how do you feel in this moment in time, seeing Bo just take the bed?
That's totally fine. I wasn't planning on taking the bed anyway. I'm good. I have a bedroll. I'm set.
Okay, and a cloak for a little bit of a little bit of cloak. Yeah. Okay,
wrap me up, keep me warm at night.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So luckily, Logan has not shown any displeasure at Bo's initiative to take the bed. Claude, what's your thoughts at the moment?
As everybody's settling down, get ready for bed. Lod make sure to give Rusty a handshake. Thank him for. I hear you helped us out at the docks, and I appreciate that. It's good to see you again.
Yeah. He gives you a slight, like a very, very brief look, because you are a Marcel, but really to him you're Claude. So you do get the handshake quite quickly. There's no super obvious, like it doesn't make it awkward for the rest of the room. Just a tiny, tiny hesitation.
He asked, "How's Monty doing? Is she okay?"
Yeah, no, she's doing great. She wanted to come along, wanted to help, but basically we were trying to intentionally keep it as a small party. And to be honest, Jarvis was pretty insistent on being my +1 for this mission.
I don't want to intrude, but what is the mission that brings you out here with us? It's just a strange coincidence to run into you here. Does it have to do with aid out there on the mountain? Because that's a deal. That's a thing.
That is a thing. That is a much bigger mission. One probably too big for myself. No, we've been on the search for basically traffickers, and to be honest, it's and unfortunately they are people trackers. I can't even say human traffickers. Humanoid trackers, unfortunately. And I know that obviously myself and Jarvis have that in common, and we've been trying to, we kind of helped establish the Seven Sons to be able to provide some form of organization or coordination amongst those who have been able to get out from that. And haven't always been the most proud of what we've had to do just to survive. But sometimes. So,
did you say you formed the Seven Sons?
Well, I wasn't an original member, but I was a pretty early member. Yeah. Jarvis, Antipe, who you met, our leader, there was one of the original members of that. We tried to take this horrible symbol of our past and try to reform and reframe the message to be something bright and powerful and something that's going to lead us to out of the darkness that we had been before. And sometimes didn't get the best reputation for that, but at this stage, compared to what we've been through, we don't really care about reputations.
What was the original? Sorry. What was the original message of the Seven Sons?
Survival, to be honest. Survival, like, taking this brand, and it shows you basically his belly, where his particular brand being roughly placed. You can see when these brands are put on, they're not like organized uniform place that you would choose to have some sort of a mark of it. Like, this is just like randomly kind of stabbed or pressed onto the skin, an unwilling tag sorts. And we just tried to use it as a message to hopefully inspire other busy former slaves. Merchandise is what they used to call us. Forward, and we've had to compete and scrape and claw for anything we could, whether it's been food or drink, trying to steal from like local taverns, and just try to do anything to survive. Our latest game had seemed to actually be making a little bit of traction. We had actually found a way to own coins, and we had actually found a way to be able to introduce a currency that was allowing us to supply more people in need. unfortunately, we lost contact with our press there. It was in a place called Flattery, and it was working for a while, but we're not quite sure what happened with that.
You haven't been there yet?
No, I haven't been there for a while. It wasn't one of my assignments.
That town is empty. That town had nothing but doppelgangers and mimics. And who had the coin? Did somebody have the coin? I don't remember who was carrying the coin.
Tommy secretly has the coin.
I have one too. 5, I think.
Yeah. Tell was carrying a handful. We don't know about Tommy's.
Yeah.
We found the mint, and just like gesture to Tell that he has. We have some of the coins. That town was empty except for fiends.
I'll pull the
But,
coin out and show him.
Yeah, that's definitely one of ours, unfinished because the marking's only on one side. But that I think that plan was never going to last forever, but it did provide some good while it could. Did you by any chance meet Marcus Ware? Basically, he would have been our sort of plant in the city. He was the barkeep. Probably one of his most distinctive things is a big checkered waistcoat that was just hideous to look at. Did you by any chance come across him in the town?
Was that the tavern where Bo did his performance?
No,
That's
that
the
was the
tavern
Polish
that I blew
captain.
up.
That's the tavern that burned down.
Back in Flattery.
Yeah, back in Flattery. Yeah, that's the one where the doppelgangers that you saw were basically this character in 4 different colored waistcoats. So instead of the checkered waistcoat, there was a black waistcoat, a red waistcoat, a yellow waistcoat, and a purple waistcoat. So
yeah, we found some doppelgangers that they all looked identical, and I'll kind of describe the physical features.
That's Marcus. Yeah. So yeah.
We found things that resembled him, but they were not human. They were not humanoid. They were fiends.
Okay. Yeah, Flattery was a pretty important hub town for us. We'd really just started to establish something in there. It was kind of our next stage, to get out of the swamp area. But and you can see he's annoyed. He doesn't seem to have a personal connection to Marcus, so it doesn't seem like he's lost like a good friend or anything. More like a good employee or a good other manager in your company, or someone that is definitely a bit of a loss to the organization.
Claude's starting to put pieces together. He's thinking, I guess he'll say out loud. He's like, "This my brother was leading an expedition to the town. I don't know the mess. All I've been raised to know is that the 7 sons were rivals. But if you're saying
you could say that again, you can say that again. Rivals is a pretty fanciful word for that, but let's say the Marcels have a much better marketing, public relations, basically coin. Coin is the language. We were trying to fight against them using their own language, but they were generally seen as the good guys, honorable businessmen.
And you're telling me that your mission was to free slaves and help them escape to a new life.
Unfortunately, a mission born out of necessity. I think we've all lost people along the way. Jarvis hears this, and you can see Sir Jarvis bow his head a little bit because he's obviously thinking of somebody as well that he knew. But yeah, this is and you can see Rusty is looking over towards Tell, as well. And tell when you see Rusty looking at you, yeah, there's a wry smile, but basically you can see him also looking at bruises around your ankles, the bruises around your wrist, the bruise around your neck. That just no matter how much time has passed, just don't seem to really fully recover from.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I want to talk more about the coins real quick before we get back to that. What made him stop using the coins? What would cut him off from distributing those coins?
Basically, we weren't getting any more, so no more were getting out of Flattery.
Okay.
As you can imagine, you don't rock into a town with a large bag of coins. That draws a lot of attention, but it's really just more sort of a few here or there, our way of trying to clean the money. So maybe you might have a couple of coins with you, but say 2 out of every 5 would have been our own creation. So it's because we didn't want innocent shop owners whatever to be done out of, but we had to make hard decisions along the way. But we also knew if we rocked up with an entire bag full of fake coins, they're going to get found out. So even if we're thinking 10%, 20%, 40% of a saving on all of our costs, allow us to basically help more people, because unfortunately our numbers have been expanding. Just as time has went by, so it becomes harder and harder to facilitate.
Gotcha. And then the barkeep, did he work for anyone? Does he know?
Did he work for anyone? He just would have been another one of the. You get the feeling way Rusty was talking, almost just like another lieutenant style sort of person. Like this was his assignment, which Rusty would sort of know of. But you also get the feeling that this is like separate cells, like in an organization, where you got that little bit of deniability, where no one knows everything. They know of them, but you get the feeling that Rusty has told you everything that he knows, so he knows of the plan. He just wouldn't have known of the logistics. He would have just got coins that he could distribute and utilize every so often if needed.
So Bo's been sitting on the top bunk, kind of like strumming along, eavesdropping a little bit.
Yep.
Listening to the conversation, putting it all in his head, and then he's thinking about, oh God, did I do it again? Did I mistakenly try to do something good and just ended up causing things to get worse? Because he's thinking about how he sent the message to Magfield through Marcel's, the company. And I don't know if he wants to. I'm still thinking about whether Bo's going to speak up and ask or not. But he's definitely going to ask, hey, Rusty, was Magfield, was that a Seven Sons location, or was it just a place,
a
hideout?
No, that was the location. That's where strategically we would have met up, and that's why we brought you there whenever Shelburne got hit, and that was our sort of first port of call. So that's actually it's probably our most important location, and its whereabouts is a highly regarded secret.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, just don't worry. I know you wouldn't say anything, so just try to keep that down.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go back. He's gonna go back to strumming.
Okay. Okay. Viator, any other questions for Rusty?
What's the group called that we were just talking about?
Seven Sons.
Is there anybody on that group that he doesn't trust?
Oh, you probably get quite an impassioned sort of feeling from him. He not backing it up with any sort of evidence, but he's just going with the mentality that everybody in there has been through this trauma of just barely getting out alive from what basically would have been a life of slavery. Slavery and torture. And sometimes you get the feeling when he says slavery, there's other things in his head that are worse than slavery that would happen to some of these people. Like they were just treated like product. Like, you would probably tell of things like forced fighting rings and much crimes being committed that people we just never saw again. So.
No, I'm good. I'm ready. I mean, obviously, I want to acknowledge Rusty and give him a quick pat in the belly.
Yeah.
Give him a handshake.
He smiles and he goes, oh, yeah, yeah. Thanks, mate. Yeah. And yeah, so that's fine. Don't worry. I know you weren't just going to turn on your heel because right, I'm done talking to you. Okay, Claude, you're still there with Rusty. If there's anything else you want to say, Logan is basically getting himself sort of comfortable. He's got his bedroll coming out and cloak's getting nice and close. Rian is there. Rian, you're lying on your side. Basically, just Jarvis kind of put you into bed. Your kind of knees are bent up a little bit in the fetal position. Tobin has found that little space behind your knees and just curled up into a wee ball right behind your knees. So he's kind of sleeping in there. He's the loudest snorer at the moment of everybody in the room. He's just switched off. Yeah, he's out for the count.
Rian's a little claustrophobic, especially with the dipping mattress, so she kind of rolls off the bed and just leans against the frame and lets Tobin have the whole thing. Okay. So you basically got that, you're like right on the edge of the bed. As far as your visual is concerned, you're kind of in the room, but you're on the bed, but you're less confined. Okay. Fantastic. Like sitting on the floor and leaning against the frame. Okay. So Tobin's just got the whole bed. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, Jarvis had taken a seat at the side of the bed as well. So basically, you are sitting beside him at that side of the bed. And he knows you well enough not to push any further. Like he's probably surprised enough that you kind of went along with as much as you did. And he sees this probably as a bit of a good sign, small smile on his face, a little bit of a sign of like, there's the attitude that I'm used to seeing. Like that's closer to the Rian that I would know. Okay. Tell me anything you want to be doing. Okay, so just double check. This is a 1-bedroom place, right? And there's no, you got bunk beds. So there's so one room. There's bunk beds. There's a sink. Is there a window or no windows? There's 2 windows. So there's 2 windows. Basically, imagine like a corner, not even apartment, but it's basically like a corner building. So you got 2 boarded up windows with very strategic cracks in the window. The window to your right is looking out towards the dock area. The one in front of you is looking at a very, very fancy, envious hotel. Yeah, so Tommy just went from a cage he could barely move into a room with a lot of people that he can kind of barely move in. So his anxiety is up, and he'll pace back and forth in the small air, whatever space he has. He paces back and forth, and then he stands at the window, almost like to feel a little bit of fresh air, and then he goes back to pacing. He's not very comfortable with being in the another small space. He knows he has to be here because it's a safe house, but it's an uncomfortable feeling for him. So, is contemplating his thoughts up on the top bunk with his strumming. His rhythm is being put off by the squeak of the floorboards as Tommy is just going back and forth, back. Viator is just, Logan's on the floor. He's Logan, you're probably tired and sore enough, and you've slept a lot outside, so small noises are not going to disturb you as it goes along, I imagine. And Rian's on the floor. Rian, your eyes are probably getting heavy. I imagine you're trying not to put your head on Jarvis's shoulder to fall asleep. You kind of got that heavy eyelid and kind of head bobbing a little bit. Yeah. Viator, anything you want to do before you kind of
it easy for the evening.
Just compliment Bo on his pajamas again.
Yep.
He gives you an affirming nod and a smile.
Yeah. There they are. There's the pajamas.
Very good. And Claude, last one up there. You were obviously talking away with Rusty as well. What do you want to do?
Yeah. After that chatting, Claude doesn't say anything. He takes his bedroll, rolls it out. He's quiet and just kind of more conflicted than ever over what he thinks he knows and what he's finding out.
Cool. Jarvis at that point basically is kind of the closest thing to almost acting like a little bit of a daddy for the room, and he's really gonna kind of suggest everyone's on edge, and he's going to suggest people take a rest, and try to get some sleep. Let's sort of reconvene, sort of like say 9 o'clock tonight. 9, 10 o'clock. It'll be a little bit darker. You guys can have a thought in terms of what you want to do going forward. Do you want to sort of make some moves in the nighttime, or do you want to wait for morning or later in the night? Okay. So you can tell it's his idea, but he's not insisting on it because these aren't kids and these are all adults, but he does believe that he knows what's best.
And if we're trying to lay low, it sounds like the best idea.
So we've got Bo up on the top bunk. Tobin is now on his back, completely sprawled out on the bed, but he's the only one on the bottom bunk at the moment. Rian and Jarvis on the ground, Logan on his bedroll, Tommy, Claude, and Viator. What do you want to do in terms of sleeping or resting or whatever?
Bedroll on the ground.
Tommy, after pacing for a while, will take whatever the corner is. He'll get into the corner and put his head against the corner, as close to whatever window, because that feels like freedom. And so he'll be close to the window as possible.
Yeah, as you're kind of sitting there, there's a little bit of a breeze coming down from that window that's looking towards the porch. So there's a little bit of sea air coming in. If anything, that sea air, a little bit come through the window, not only provides a nice chill, but a familiar smell that is probably enough to help you eventually drift off to sleep.
That's exactly what he needs. Yep.
Viator.
Just bed for me now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So as we go through the night, you can tell that no one's really had to be disturbed because during the night, both Jarvis and Rusty were sort of taking watch as well. So nothing has sort of really stood out. There's been a little bit of movement, but the insistence has been that let you guys actually rest up. So giving you a little bit of extra rest, you get the feeling that as he's sort of kind of nudging people awake, Rian, how did you fall asleep? Did you fall asleep on his shoulder? Did you kind of slump off to the side? What sort of happened for you?
Kind of like the head fell back on the bed with Tobin's face nearby.
Yeah. So basically you're there and Tobin's head is there and just kind of almost like facing opposite ways and he's all straddled out. What wakes you up is Tobin looking extremely refreshed. He has had a fantastic sleep. He had a bed all to himself, so many hours in a row. So he's basically licking the side of your face because you had one of you know yourself when you got a dog. If you make a loud breath near them in the morning, they're like, "Well, it's morning time." That's it. You're not going back to sleep. Okay, so he's like full on, like waking you up in that way. Okay, you see that Jarvis and Rusty are both stood up as well. Rusty's near the door, and Jarvis is near the window where Tommy is in the corner of. Every so often, kind of just peeking through. You don't get the feeling he's too anxious. He's just almost more of a habit, looking out the window.
Is there a place we can let Tobin go do his business that isn't in here, where we will all smell it?
No, you get the feeling you'd have to actually let him outside.
I'll just tell Jarvis I'm gonna open the door real quick and we'll just let Tobin out, and kind of keep the door cracked and watch him, but not step out because we're still trying to be a little cautious.
You won't be able to see Tobin when he goes, because there's the door and there's the stairs and it goes out to the front. You might see him like that window at the front, but it's a small crack in the thing. You might not be able to get the best angle on him. You can try, of course, and just hope that nothing distracts Tobin as it goes along.
Just listen for now and check on him in like 60 seconds.
That's okay. Okay, cool. So you let the door open and Tobin's a little bit hesitant, but he sees it, and then you can just hear him just kind of scuttle down the stairs. Out to the door. All right? And that's what you can see at the moment. You can't see him out the window at the moment because this little crack is more looking towards that building that's in front of you. So you can't see anything, but you also don't hear any mad reactions. You don't hear him barking and chasing something, etc. Okay. Bo, how rested are you feeling?
I mean, let's see. Bo didn't really take any damage. He didn't get any. So he's feeling pretty spry.
Yeah.
Pretty well rested.
So the guilt of Magfill Swamp didn't keep you up, no?
One thing about Bo is a good night's sleep really cures what's going on in his head. So he's able to put it out of his mind right now and hopefully press forward.
Cool. Everybody can consider themselves with a long rest, fully healthy, spell slots returned, hit dice returned for a short rest. Logan, as we know, with the cloak, you get one less hit dice than normal. As the sort of the cost of the benefits of the cloak.
How do I calculate that?
So it's basically your level. So you hit your hit dice for sort of temporary relief, which is like 1 hour rest, is the same as your level. Okay, so you get one less. So if you're level 4, you have 3 instead of 4.
Okay. I can't.
Cool. So it's Logan and Bo, Claude, Tommy, Viator. What are you guys up to at the moment? Sort of stirring yourself awake.
Tommy's up. As soon as Tommy wakes up, he stands right back up and kind of the same motion of pacing, checking the window, pacing, checking the window. He's very given off of like, I want to move, I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
Without saying it.
That, as he's waking up, Tommy, you seem like you want to get out of here. Seem like you want to get going. What do you want to do?
I don't know. Anywhere, kind of anywhere but here. I don't like being closed in. Like, I want to be on. I'd rather be on the go than be stuck. And it's back and forth, back and forth.
You rather confront a fire god? Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah. You've got a question from Claude. Do you want to confront a fire god?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Tommy, pauses, looks at him, thinks, contemplates it for a second of die to the captain I used to be with, die to a fire god, and then just goes back to pacing. He doesn't really answer to it, but he looks you in the eyes. He takes a second to think about it and can't decide what the better answer is, so he just goes back to his pacing. Just anywhere better than here.
Yeah. So Claude, you're probably slightly taken aback that your very obvious joke from your perspective was almost seriously considered by Tommy. So that's probably what takes you back, has you taken aback with that. Okay. Tommy, as you're pacing, you can see Jarvis looking at you probably with very kind eyes. You get the feeling like he actually knows what you're going through at the moment. So you can see that in his face. He's not going to try to stop you. He's not trying to do anything to change you. He knows this is what you're having to process. And almost a little bit of a reflective look on his face because he had to process this at one point as well. Okay. And Viator, waking up in your bedroll. What's your sort of thoughts?
Just sitting there like, any ideas where we want to go next? There, do Tommy? We got to get Tommy a pistol. He's pistolless.
Yeah, some weapons would be nice.
Can I give him one of my daggers?
What you get?
I do actually have daggers. They're hidden in my they're kind of tucked away in my pockets. That's the only thing that I think they didn't take from me, unless the DM wants them to be gone. Then I'm fine with it.
You're right. No, they were hidden. They were hidden.
I do technically have that, but you guys mostly have only seen my rapier and my pistol, my excellent never miss pistol.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. As you are sort of contemplating what's happening there, you do hear just a little bit of time passing, maybe sort of an hour or so goes by. It's quite quiet. The port is quite quiet. And you do hear almost sounds like a large horn or a large call. Sort of a call, a very echoey call. And you look out onto the water and you see the Howling Boar. And you see a couple of sparks of light, but no sound. And about 2 seconds after that, cannonball fire starts smashing into the port of Daggerford as more flashes of light started to happen from the Howling Boar. And this is very much a clear sign the Howling Boar is just looking to obliterate what is there for Daggerford. This port area is being bombarded with cannon fire. It's not close to your building at the moment. It's just but you can see the port side, and you can just see these fiery balls of lead just flying through the sky and planting into the ground and destroying some of the warehouse areas. And that sound that you heard was Claude in the direction of your house.
The horn?
The horn, the sound, the organ, whatever that noise was definitely in that direction. And now Daggerford is under siege from the Howling Boar. It's just, it's still one ship, but there's quite a few cannons on it. Tommy, you know exactly the firepower on this thing, so you kind of know how long this can last. This is unfortunately a relatively common tactic that you know before further incursions are about to happen. But basically this port area of Daggerford is being bombarded quite regularly. And with the distance that's being covered, it's almost like the difference, the difference when you hear thunder versus the lightning. You can see the flash of light and then so everybody's awake now. Tobin has stormed up the stairs and is scratching the outside of that door like absolutely crazy. You can see for a brief moment Rusty is at the door and he's like, that's not really the secret knock, but okay. He opens the door and Tobin runs in, and Tobin is just straight underneath the bunk beds, like just straight under and just shivering and shaking. So so at that moment Daggerford is under siege from the Howling Boar. What do you want to do?
Tommy just kind of
Tommy, what the hell's going on?
The power and the amount of ammo they have on this ship, this can go on for hours, but I don't understand why they're attacking the place that they're using to get people out of here. It's like biting the hand that feeds you. I don't understand. But this tactic with the power that the ship can do a lot of damage to the city.
What you're also starting to see, Tommy, as this starts to happen, the water is getting really rocky right there. Like the waves are starting to build up and they're starting to get really big. And the ship, even some of the shots from the cannons are like starting to go awry from where they were usually hitting because they're now being knocked off in trajectory. But the ship's, nothing's happening to it. But the water out there is really starting to build up some momentum. And yet, if you look at the weather, It's not Stormy.
Do I recognize it? Like, does it look familiar to me?
No.
Okay.
Really have context for that. Put it that way. I get where you're sort of going, but Tommy wouldn't have the context to compare this stage of proceedings.
Okay. Tommy doesn't. Honestly, Tommy doesn't know what to do. Like,
yeah.
Tommy wants to get out of here, but he also doesn't want to go out and put himself in a position to get caught again. So he just kind of is just like looking out the window and just said everything that he just said, hoping that Claude or someone takes a lead to do something because he doesn't know what to do.
Yep. Okay.
That horn sounded like a signal. I think this was intentional and it's coordinated, and I don't know if we're safe here. We're within firing range, right? Wherever the cannonballs are hitting are like far enough inland that they'd hit us.
Oh, they're not.
They're not.
You can only obviously the sound is very loud. It's that window that Tommy's looking at the moment is that whole port side area. So if you're looking at this picture, imagine this whole area is being bombarded along this sort of waterfront area. Imagine you're like this kind of corner building. I'm just sort of making up exactly which building that you're in at the moment, but you're sort of in there. So you're seeing a lot more explosions in around this area. So your building is not under threat at the moment from being hit by fire based on the current position of the boat and the trajectory of the cannons. Okay. Claude, you probably realize that if the Howling Boar wanted to move in closer to land, that would naturally increase the distance that's under threat. But at the moment, you can see a very consistent pattern of where the cannonballs are landing and what's the sort of range that they have at the moment.
And what does it look like they're targeting? Just the harbor? Is that where the?
It seems to be relatively indiscriminate. It's just the area and just pelting it down like you would with your sort of training, even sort of paladin training. You know that this is a kind of a shock and awe type tactic. It's just try to destroy and confuse and create chaos before likely something else or a secondary phase of a plan.
Well, do we?
That's my favorite reaction. Just fuck. Like to the point you were so still, I thought the camera had frozen again. I mean, just went fuck.
Well,
okay.
Cool. We don't have much time.
Yeah, like where do we go from here? Is there?
Yeah.
Do you guys want? Do we need to take advantage of this?
I said we set up an ambush.
Ambush.
What I'm thinking is that they're shooting the cannonballs to create a distraction to try and come off the Howling Boar and attack somewhere else, is how I'm feeling about it. We kind of hide and wait near the docks and see where the Howling Boar goes into, and then fight them as they come off. Is my idea.
How many people are on that ship?
Sorry, Lou.
Tommy?
The ship is big enough to hold a couple dozen up to 100 if you really pack that ship. But I haven't been on the ship in a minute. I don't know the size of the crew.
Yeah, Tommy, your experience, as you said, a couple of dozen is probably a good number on it in terms of being able to maintain everything that's on it. And yet not be too expensive to run. Because at the end of the day, it's a ship. You got to feed everybody, drink everybody, as well as prevent the potential for mutiny. Because if there's just too many people and you got one captain telling us, it's like eventually they're going to realize they can do what they want, even if this is captain's in. So yeah, so you're probably looking a couple of dozen, somewhere between sort of like 25 to 35 people is your most common assessment.
Now let me ask you this: is there a space where we can set up a 300 type situation? Just narrow. I'm kidding. We need to gather.
Maybe we can use this time, like this distraction, to get Tommy's equipment back.
But by the sounds of it, we have to go to Claw's house.
Yeah, you said we couldn't see it from where we are, right? Radishing.
Could not.
You can't see it. Yeah, it's kind of imagine your window is looking sort of southwest.
Yeah.
Or sorry, like northwest, and based on the map, and the house is sort of northeast direction of you. So it's a awkward 90-degree. You can't really kind of see around that corner.
If I'm not, if I heard that correctly, that horn seemed like a signal, and it was coming from there. I don't know if they initiated it or if they're planning to strike as well. But maybe, do Rusty or Jarvis have any idea what's going on? Have they heard? Ask them.
You can see the calmness that they had is just like this is not the sort of mission they're involved in. You know, they're sort of more clandestine. You know, get in, get out, investigate, etc. They're just as surprised as everybody else. They're not panicking, but they're not made for going up against cannon fire. So.
Well, it's inland. It would be away from the cannon fire, and maybe we can find answers there.
Yeah, I was thinking we could find your dad and brother and see if we can gather an army.
Yeah,
Can we trust
I
them?
don't know what's going to happen in there. I don't know at this point.
Well, it seems like we have three options then: run,
I'm going to be honest.
we hide, or we fight.
I don't like to run. I would rather have answers, but I don't know what we're going to face in there.
I always want to kill pirates, so I want to fight.
Tommy again gives that like side eye look and like it knows at this point what you mean by it, but still it's such a whenever you say it out loud, it's still like a little side eye.
You're not a pirate, you're Myrit.
Cool. So basically, this cannon is still like you're probably getting like cannon fire sort of. The initial barrage has sort of died down a little bit, so it's not like boom, 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 but it is probably like another cannon like every sort of easy, say like maybe 10 seconds or so. As you can tell, that this is more about a persistent onslaught of maintained chaos as it goes along. So this is still happening, an explosion, and there's basically craters being created in amongst the concrete, and some of the warehouses are being blown to bits, and you can see through some of the warehouses now because it's just a massive hole between what was the front and what was the back. So you can see other parts of the water. This water is starting to gradually increase as well. So this wave, this movement, as well. Rain, if you were to look at, because you're probably been the one who's most concerned about volcano monster. This is now picking up a bit of pace compared to what it was. You can see his legs starting to move a little bit faster. It's not charging towards you. It's not like it's going to be there like the next 5 minutes, but compared to its slow, methodical movement before, it's a little bit. It's definitely reacting to these changes as well.
Brian's gonna look at Jarvis and say, "Can you just go out to every house and knock on doors and get people to leave?"
Yeah, Jarvis thinks that's a great idea. So, like, are you sure you're going to be okay?
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. We just need to get people out of the city. We can't.
Yeah.
Be trying to protect them at the same time. And Rian's going to turn to the rest of the group and be like, "That's becoming a big problem. So we might want to decide what to do with your family, Claude."
I guess we head up there.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Well, get your shit together and let's go.
It sounds like we want to get away from the water anyway. So
yeah. Okay. Cool.
Head to the manor. See
Let's
what we find.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So basically, as you're going through the water's continuing to move in the port, and some of the barriers and the flood defenses have been smashed by the cannon fire as they sort of go along. So you can see a little bit more water as the tides are rising. A little bit more water is creeping up onto the port area and just sort of going with the tides. A little bit more coming further inland a little bit, not major disastrous flood, more sort of like ankle deep and then out with the tide, ankle deep and then with the tide. You can see this is gradually increasing in intensity and frequency as it goes along. Rusty's there as well. Rusty's going to look at you guys. Do you want me to come along with you guys? Is there anything I can do to help? Jarvis has basically flown out the door and everyone's sort of getting evacuated. You can tell there's a lot of chaos out in the street, and people are shouting and screaming, but Jarvis is at least getting them to move further inland as much as possible. And you can tell a little bit of crowd mob mentality. If there's a little bit of organization, people start to follow along with it. So when gradually more people are going this way instead of that way, people are turning and running off in that direction, getting further and further into the center of the town.
Rusty, I think you can. Would you be able to secure us a way out of here if we need to make maybe not the water, but maybe another route?
Yeah, because he's basically talking about like his sort of boat. I'm going to say sort of speedboat, but like the swamp boats that you guys had. Yeah, that you guys had to get out of Shellburg. He knows where his is, and he's basically going to talk about. See this coastal area? There's right in the bottom corner here. There's this sort of bit of a tower. There's a way to get out there that's not been affected by the cannon fire, so it's off to the edge, still in the water. So he's going to suggest that everybody gets basically southwest here. That's where he's going to make sure that his boat is still secured, hasn't been destroyed, and that's basically the best way to get out at the moment. There's just too much inland because Daggerford, with the way it was the forest area where you're at, and then there's large mountainous areas, so it's very difficult to get out that way. But that's how he got in himself. So he's going to relay that plan.
On our way up, and just telling any people we come across or any guards that like they need to get people away from the water or get to high ground, just further inland and away from. I know it seems obvious, but
some guards are naturally doing that, and other guards are just like pushing past other people as well. Get out of my way! Like they're just frantically going as well. They don't really care. They're just getting out of Dodge as best they can, just people are basically moving inland as much as possible. So you can see people going past your building and stuff and going into these areas at the back. So the water's really starting to overlap. This front now is now a water side. It's really the water is overlapping and coming into that, and this tide is continuing to fluctuate. Okay, so you want to make your way towards Marcel Manor?
Yeah.
Quickly.
He says begrudgingly. Oh, yeah.
Everything I thought I knew.
Yeah. And okay, so basically you're kind of cutting between the streets, and there's a lot of bumping and shoving, and people kind of you guys are clearly going against the tide of human traffic here as you're making your way through the town. You get past the foolish captain, you're onto that street there. The water is starting to sort of overlap into this street from the side. Niall is still there, tied up on the ground, still hasn't moved. Expression has not changed in the slightest. There's no guards around him. He's just sitting there, seemingly hasn't moved even an inch.
He's conscious?
Well, he has no eyelids, so you can't tell if he's actually unconscious or awake or whatever, but he's just not stirring whatsoever, hasn't moved even the tiniest bit.
Well, that's good to see. At least he hasn't gotten out.
Great. And as that's sort of continuing to happen, basically you're charging your way down the street. Claude, are you sort of like marching order? Are you at the front making your way towards the house, or are you more hesitant and kind of at the back of the group? Where are you at with this?
I'm not thrilled, but I still think my place is at the front to be kind of the buffer. And because it is my home that we're going towards.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, as you're making your way towards the street, and you go past, and you get to the bottom of the stairs, and the doorway is right there. You're right at the front door of the manor. What do you want to do?
Is anybody visible?
You're just standing outside the door, so there's no one,
Okay.
no one visible at the moment.
Oh, outside the door, not the gate. Okay.
Yeah.
I just open the door. Just don't knock. Just go in.
Okay. First person you see whenever you walk in is Rickard, and he is frantic. He is really, really anxious, and he's doing almost like a similar glitchy walk to what Tommy was doing. He's just back and forth, and he does not know what's going on.
I'll confront him. What's going on?
There's the captain and Tommy and the Nahor and the shell and everything was so loud, and oh my god, the fire, the cannon fire, just
The horn. It was a signal.
Yeah, the captain did it. You know that shell that he has, that. So obviously you don't know what he's talking about, Tommy. You are recognizing this because you saw this on his hip. So when you're hearing this about a conch shell, like a beautifully decorative, like it very much stands out, this is what's coming into your head, right? This beautiful light blue, shiny conch shell, right? Claude, you've no idea what he's talking about here. Like, is it a shell? Is it a horn? Is it whatever? Tommy's picturing this because he saw it on Zian's hip.
What are they doing? Why are they attacking the city? What deal do you have with these pirates?
It's he's just completely open. And then all you see at that moment is at the back door, Captain Zian appears from the sort of the basement door, right? And he just rocks up from the back, and he's got this conch shell on his hip. Sorry, I want to get rid of Rickard. Yeah. And Captain Zian does not even entertain you. He's looking straight at Tommy. Well, boy, seems you've burned my entire operation. It's like, just, well, it was established for a while, and just gonna have to reset and move on like we've done before. We had that place where the Dragonborn were. We had that place where the swamp people are. It's just part of business. Just pick up, move on. And he kind of sees you guys as you're sort of talking with that there, and he's got this horn. And at that moment, you can see him pick up the horn again and goes, but as you can see, I'm kind of outnumbered at the moment. So he blows on this conch shell again. Nothing immediately happens.
As he blows the horn, Tommy charges him and tries to tackle him.
Okay, fantastic. So initiative on that. Roll for initiative. Anybody wants to get into a fight?
I'm in.
There wasn't anyone else. There was just him in the room, right? Him and
just him.
And yeah, okay.
That you can see. So obviously he was coming from the back area. So
Tommy's just trying to stop him from signaling anything else. So
yeah.
18 is my initiative.
Yeah, I rolled a 20.
13 for me.
Like my only not 20.
So you had to say something. You gotta.
Yeah. So so basically at that point, he's gonna see you charging towards him. And so he's already blown the conch shell, but he sees you kind of out of the corner of his eye charging through. And do a strength check for me, please.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Just straight strength.
Okay. 16.
Yeah. So he got a 16 as well. So basically, it's like, you've kind of almost charged into him and you push him back a little bit just because you have the momentum. But he's been able to sort of hold you in position at this moment in time. At the side of your head, just right at the side of your head is his pistol.
I would like
and
to
on the other side of his hip is his and on the other side is his rapier. Okay, so sleight of hand. You're not going to catch him by surprise. You're not trying to do it subtly. In a sense, you just want to be able to grab away at this. Yeah.
Yeah. My best chance was I have no weapon, so I need one of his weapons. So I was charging to get in a conflict with him to try to get his weapon. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna try to take his. What do I want? Well, I'm gonna sleight of hand first and see.
Yeah.
A 17.
So, what one item do you slip off his belt?
I'll take his sword.
Sword. Okay, fantastic. Right. As you're taking the sword, his hand is moving towards his pistol, and you are like basically bent over directly in front of him. So as that's happening, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll come back to that in 1 second. And as this is happening, the water sounds that you guys were hearing at the port side, it seems just as loud as it did when you were running past the port area. And it's crashing up against the door, and the door just flings open, and a huge tide of water, probably sort of between ankle and knee height, charges into the room and just sort of sweeps across. Everybody except for Tommy, do a strength-based check for me, please, because you're looking to maintain your footing as this water charges in.
Not a saving throw, just a strength check or a
strength saving throw. Yeah,
strength saving.
So it's basically whether you're going to get knocked on your ass by this big tide of water coming in, or if you're going to be able to maintain your footing.
18 for Logan.
18 stays on his feet. Claude.
Nat 20 for a 22.
So you stay on your feet, you basically block and set your footing, that's fine. Bo
also rolled a nat 20.
Nat 20, fantastic. Bo maintains on his feet. Bo, your sort of instinctive swamp, balancing with the tide of the water helps you maintain your feet. Tell?
9.
9. Tell, you get swept. Like, so basically you just hit the ground and you're getting pushed past Tommy and Captain Zane, so you're going to end up closer to the back of the room. Okay. And Rian?
16.
Okay. You maintain your footing. Tobin gets swept. So Tobin's like, whoosh. Tobin's getting pushed back right beside Tal, just to the back of the room. Okay. As that happens, the water is erratic. And then it starts to weirdly slow down, because from the water it's rising different.
Those don't look good.
You got enough of them?
Well, welcome. These forms of water, these water elemental type forms, are just rising from the water, and they're all just all sort of at this front door area. They've all charged in, and with that as well, as this is happening, Tommy, on Captain Zane's hip, this conch shell is kind of glowing. Okay, so this has happened. This is glowing as these things are appearing. Okay, and basically this started to happen. So I'm going to stick with your initiative orders that we had, right? I'm going to roll basically for these guys. And we'll just go it from in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? All these things are kind of running there. Claude, you're at the front. Who had, Tommy, you had 16, didn't you?
18.
18, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Claude.
6.
Okay. Bo.
I had an 8.
Okay. Logan.
22.
Of course. Viator.
A 9.
9. And Ryan.
15.
Okay, fantastic. Right. Tommy, sleight of hand. You, at that moment, Zane is going for his pistol. Okay? You know you're in a really vulnerable position because, like, you are point blank if he wants to. Okay? But you've got the rapier in your hand. It's about to slip out. Okay? So, what do you want to do?
Okay, so these 11 things you just mentioned, are they in the room or have they appeared outside the house? Like, are they just suddenly among all of us?
Yeah, so all that water that kind of charged in, yeah. Basically, it's all on, and these things just rose up from out of the water. I don't necessarily have a map to show exactly where they are, so I'm more than happy for people just to kind of call out because they're water elementals. Like they're kind of everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So just pick one to fight.
Okay.
And then tell me which one you're doing because but as we go along I'll be able to sort of pick out there's certain positions where there's more of them sort of gathered together.
Did all the water turn into them and so we're not like standing in?
No, you're still standing in water. Yeah, you pretty much are in sort of ankle, sort of shin height ocean water, and these things are appearing out of them as well. So you can tell they're not quite the exact same as the ocean water, but they certainly use the water to get in.
Would you say our movements hindered then?
Yeah, there is a slight because you're kind of sludging through the water. So basically, everybody kind of loses about sort of 10 feet of movement.
All right.
So Tommy's sleight of hand grabbed. Oh no, his camera froze.
It did.
We were doing so good.
All right, but I am.
Last bit of saying there. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's fine. So yeah, basically, last part is that your movement is reduced by about. You're kind of sludging through shin high water as you go along.
Okay. I sleight of hand the rapier and I immediately stab at the shell that's on his hip. Oh no, I'm not hearing him.
Oh no!
Oh man,
why is
what's up?
There now it did.
Back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For now.
Maybe okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to try to hit
Go for the shell. Roll attack.
Wait.
What?
So
why did it not show? I don't know. 15. Can't hear you.
No.
It makes no sense. Why is it just the audio that?
maybe it's cutting out. Like maybe if we.
I'll keep just trying doing settings and stuff. So
there. What did you move anything? No.
Nope.
No.
Did you say
That's what I mean. Like for some reason.
Is the wire? Did you mention before about the wire being loose at all for the? I thought you mentioned that a while ago. Like not today, but like many sessions ago.
That's I'll just kind of keep it tight or whatever. So.
Okay. 15.
So yeah, just you did hit it. It took a crack. It's not destroyed. A little bit of damage, and you can see Zane has kind of used this as like jumps away from it, like he's definitely protective of the shell, and that creates a little bit of space for you with that as well. Him jumping out of that gives you an opportunity to attack. Yeah.
7.
But you can see he's definitely protective of that shell. Okay, cool. With that, Zane basically goes with the pistol shot. He's about sort of 10 feet away from you at this point in time, and he's going to roll.
I'm going to use a reaction real quick. My cutting words. I see him. I've been eyeing him up, eyeing that pistol up, and I see him reach for it, and I'm gonna whisper in him through the little whisper, into my hands and cutting words. So he gets a 1d6 minus, I believe. Hold on. Explored one bar. You do so after knowing the result. Cutting words. Yeah. Okay. So roll. Okay, I roll a d6 and you get minus that. So it'd be whatever it is. It's -4.
Good roll. Okay, so basically he had rolled an 11, so it's down to a 7. So that among... come on, really?
We still see you.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, sorry. I thought that look was like, oh no, he's cut out again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I just saw a couple of people at the same time. Went, oh, I was like,
sorry.
Okay.
As in, it didn't hit me. Or yeah, it's lower than my armor class.
No, it didn't hit you, which is fine. So a combination of the protecting the shell, the stepping back against the raging water, as well as the cutting words, it kind of just distracted his mind at that moment. Bo, there's no damage with that.
No, it's just kind of like a deflection. No.
He froze.
Okay, so basically, can you see you've got the shared screen, you got Zane, and you got the 11 basic water elementals in there?
Yep.
Okay, so Tommy, you had been able to acquire the rapier. You missed with the opportunity attack, but you did hit the shell. Zane took a shot, but with Bo's distraction as well, missed the shot. And Logan, it's now your turn. So you were basically one of the ones who were able to hold your ground near the front of the building. So you guys are basically surrounded by, say, about 5 or 6 of these. And then there's about 3 in the middle and 3 near the back. Okay? So I don't mind which one you pick, because you're really just attacking. Basically, these are minions. Okay? So there's no real sort of personality to each of them. They're just a collective of bodies. So what do you want to do?
I'm torn. I want to attack the shell, but I also want to try to attack one of these things.
Yeah, I would go for the idea that you don't know about the shell. Like you kind of were distracted by the water coming in and the tussle with Tommy. So I would probably make it a little bit easier for you and just go. You're not aware of the shell importance at the moment.
All right, then let's just go for a classic arrow at the nearest water elemental to me.
Okay, fantastic. Cool. Roll for attack.
22. What is with that number? I keep on getting it.
Yeah, it's such a bad number.
Yeah, okay, so that hits. Roll for damage.
10.
Okay, and now half that because it's basically piercing damage onto a water creature, so it is resistant to that as well.
I had to know.
No, that's absolutely fine. So basically, the water does go through it. Almost kind of think like Terminator 2. It opens up a gap in it and then it kind of closes up again, but it does do a bit of damage to it, but just not enough to kill it. Okay. Do you want to do any movement? Do you want to do any sort of free action? What are you thinking? There's, for example, a set of stairs you might want to go up because I know you like your heights.
I didn't know there were stairs in the room. Absolutely, yeah. Get me out of this water. Yeah. Yep. Move towards the stairs.
Fantastic. So you're basically going to move towards the stairs, and if you want to go towards the stairs, there's going to be 2 attacks of opportunity because you basically kind of got to run past a couple of these elementals. Do you still want to do that?
Let's go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Right. 10 and 11. Do either of them hit your AC?
AC is 16.
Okay. So no, neither of them hit. So you basically get past them, and you're up onto the stairs. You've been able to get above the water level, so your movement now is no longer being restricted by the 10 feet, and you've got a little bit of height. Okay. Cool. Rian, you're up.
Magic missile.
Yep.
How many do I have right now? Level 2, I have 4.
You're level 4, so yeah. I think
I think I have the second level spell is.
Yes. I think it's 4 as well.
darts.
Yeah, I do think so as well. Yeah.
For some reason, I'm not seeing it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna hit the 4 closest. If I guess roll to hit first.
No, magic missiles automatically hit. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yep. Do you want to kind of spread the attacks across them, or do you want to sort of focus on one to kind of reduce the numbers? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna spread across them because I'm not sure how
effective it'll
easy
be.
they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. So basically roll a 1d4. I think it's 1d4 plus 1, is it? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Roll that across the board. As I say, you're aiming for
5,
1, 2, 3, and 4
5.
here.
Yeah. 5, 3, 4, and 5.
5, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So they do make solid contact. You don't get the feeling that there's any sort of a resistance to it being a magical type attack. So they are hitting for that sort of full level of damage. The 5, 4, was it 5, 4, 3, 5? Or
5, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Okay. So they all take a decent impact, and basically you're gonna hear sort of gargled, sort of screams with that there, and they're all taking sort of good chunky impacts when it comes to that there. Okay. The water elementals are basically going to attack everyone now who's at the front of the room. So that is Rian, Claude, and Logan, and Bo. Yeah, Bo, you didn't get swept. Okay, cool.
I think the only person that got swept was Tell.
Well, I think so as well. Tell and
Tobin.
Tobin. And Tobin, yeah.
Oh,
okay, cool. Okay, so Claude, you've got 2 of them at you. Okay, so both of them are going to try to slam down, like you can almost kind of see big fists of water slamming down onto yourself. Okay, a nat 1 for one of them and a nat 20 for the other one. So basically, one of them's going to hit you absolutely square on. Okay, so that's slam attack, and let's go with this. Okay, so the first one just sloshes against your shield. The other one hits you for 9 points of damage. Okay, so it's a good solid smash of water right up against, just past the shield, hitting yourself there. Okay. Rian, Bo, and Logan. No, sorry, not Logan. Rian, Bo, and yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yep. Rian and Bo. Okay.
Yeah.
The other, so basically, we had 4 up at the front. Okay, so these 2 attacked Claude. These 2 are basically both facing you. Okay. You can see them both briefly dive into the water, swirl towards your feet, and they're going to pop up, and they're basically looking to encase your head in water. So almost kind of like drowning you while you're standing. Okay. I'm going to need you to do a dexterity saving throw to prevent that from happening.
That would be a 20, not a nat.
Yeah.
17 plus 3.
12.
So, Bo, you see it coming, you're able to move out of the way. Rian, your head basically gets swallowed. So you've almost got like a helmet of water just encasing your head at the moment. It's not a lot of pressure. It's obviously just restricting you at the moment. So you're going to take 3 points of damage. And at the moment, you're being constricted as well. So you're basically being held by this sort of line of water that is just encompassing your entire head. So you've been inside the mouth of a giant frog. You're now inside the mouth of a water elemental. Okay, so you're basically being held in place and almost like you're underwater. Feel like
At least
you're.
I can breathe underwater.
Yeah. So the impact for you was just the damage was like the smash around your head, but at least you're not panicking. You are constricted, but at least you don't have that threat of drowning.
And my
Okay.
vision is kind of like when you're underwater, where you can like see shapes, but it's not really distinct.
Exactly. So the water is quite clean because, as I said, this isn't really ocean water. This is something else. It is elemental. So it's almost like a pure water that you're able to see through. So it's almost like swimming pool quality of being able to see through it. Okay.
Wouldn't Rianne be able to? I don't know the character, but wouldn't she be able to see underwater pretty clearly? But I mean, if she can breathe.
I can breathe underwater. There's no trait that I can necessarily see through it.
Oh, yeah.
Any different.
Yeah, as it turns out, it's pretty clear water, and it's because it's elemental type water as opposed to actual natural water. Okay, right. Viator, half of your movement to stand up if you choose to. The other water elementals, there's about 3 of them, were kind of closing in on your position, but didn't make the distance to you. Okay, so they're close to you, but they're not on top of you.
What's the distance of the pirate guy? How far is he from me?
He's like the middle of the room, and you're at the back of the room, so you wouldn't be. So I'd say you'd probably be looking, 25 feet maybe.
Okay.
So you've got your half to stand up, -10. Then after that, if you actually try to move through the water, but it might just be distance that you're looking at for a projectile.
So he's not where I can see him.
Yeah, you can see him. You know, he's got his back to you, but he's about 25 feet away, and there are 3 water elementals basically between him and you.
Okay, so I want to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Nothing.
And project a longsword in the air. And then it goes like I want to attack him, and then I want to go from his shoulder down to where the conch is. So either his right to left side.
Yeah.
That would be my attack if it hits.
So that's a projectile. I'm going to say it's a disadvantage because you are kind of having to throw that sword through the water elementals. So it's not going to be a case that it'll have to be a really bad roll for you to completely miss everything. But it would have to be a very good roll for you to hit him and not them in the way. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. 18 is what I rolled.
Yeah, that is good enough to get there. That is a very, very high roll. So well done on that. Okay, so this longsword is basically the spiritual longsword is slashing diagonally across the back of Captain Zian. Yeah, and basically down towards the shell. Is that correct?
Correct.
For damage.
9 damage.
So you can see a very sliced across his back, and the conch takes another chunk of damage, and a little bit of that has started to break off on that. Okay, and with that, there one of the water elementals disappears. Okay.
Perfect.
So good damage to the captain, bit of damage to the shell as well, and one of the elementals that was near you has happened to disappear.
Perfect.
Okay.
It says, do I have any bonus movement? Do I have any movement? Because I can move.
The rest of your movement, so half of it was to stand up, and then -10. So whatever's left of your movement.
Okay. Actually, I'm not going to move this one. I'll leave it there. But I do want to shuffle Tobin behind me so he doesn't get attacked.
Fantastic.
Kind of
Good.
Get him out of the way of danger.
Okay. Tobin is basically, with the height of the water, him not being that tall, he's basically doggy paddling behind you. So he's like almost kind of having to swim behind you. If you want, there's like a countertop behind you, or like a, for someone that has like a lamp or something, you can put him on top of that if you want him out of the water, or if you're happy for him just to be swimming behind you, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll move him out of the water onto the countertop.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Cool. You're up at the front again. Just to sort of minimize the strategy wise, you're not really aware of the importance of the shell, just to kind of take a few options from you, just because it's not common knowledge yet. Nothing's really sort of happened. But Tommy and Viator, yeah.
Kimbo is, I can assume that the conch summoned them, but I don't know that it controls them. All right.
Yeah.
Is there Is there any weapons in the room? Like I know it's like kind of like the dining room, or not the dining room, like the entryway, the grand hall, if you will. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is the same area where like Rain has got her new headdress in. So there's those pillars and stands and things, but they're generally like sort of shields and vase, and other sort of itemized clothing. There are some blades on the wall. Yeah.
Blades. Any morning stars? Any like hammers? Any?
Oh, imagine more like a spear. The kind of like spear that has the really large blade at the end of it. It's almost like a long, not quite like an executioner's axe, but a skinny version of that. That's on the wall, if you want.
I don't think so. I think instead I'm gonna cast classic fairy fire centered around not Nile, Zane. So
okay.
I'm gonna do that.
Cool. Could you roll a 2d8 for me, please? As you hear a voice behind you go, jealous.
Yeah, that's fine. 2d8. Let's just do that in here. Where is it? 8. 14.
Okay. I think you've had this one before, but I'm not sure. Okay. No, actually, I haven't had this one. Right. All you hear is exit stage left, and you turn invisible.
Oh no way! That was gonna. All right.
So as far as everyone's concerned, Bo disappeared. This water elemental tried to grab him. He got out of the way, and bang, just invisible.
Holy shit!
Okay. Cool. Sick. Bo, so you had fairy fire. You put that onto Zane. Is that correct? So everyone can kind of see this sort of glowing outline around Zane.
Yeah, it's a 20-foot cube around centered on him.
So him and the three in the middle as well have sort of been sort of covered by that as well. So it's covered a good area of these guys.
It's a dexterity saving throw. I don't know if you want to give them a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Zane. Nope. Gets a 2. One of them got a 14. One of them got a 1 and a 5. Okay. So the 14 pass, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
that's a save. That is the save.
Cool. Okay, so Zane and 2 of the elementals, let's say these first 2 in the front row, are glowing in this fairy fire light.
And then, I know I went invisible. I know I heard exit stage left, right?
You heard exit stage left, but no, you don't know. Because you can still see you. Yeah.
I don't even see it. I mean, like, did anybody make a reaction? Well, I guess, whatever. Anyway.
A lot of stuff going on, so maybe you see some slight stuff, but you could maybe just put that down to we're surrounded by water elementals.
Okay. I'm gonna try to. I was originally gonna make movement towards the stairs to get out of the water.
Well, you can do that with what sort of movement that you have, and
20 feet.
So and you won't have any attacks of opportunity against you because you're invisible.
Oh, okay.
So you're just, super stealthy, right? So no attacks of opportunity against you. Okay. Cool.
How many elementals did I pass while trying to get to the stairs?
Passed 2 of them as well. Pretty much the same 2 that Logon had passed as well. And that brings you to the very bottom of the stairs as well. So you'll have a little bit of movement just to get up to the stairs because Logon's a wee bit closer than you. But you're right at the bottom of the stairs.
All right, that's it for my turn then.
Okay, fantastic. Right, and Claude.
Oh,
2 of them right in front. 2 of them right in front of you.
How am I within 10 feet of Zane and Tommy?
they're about 15, 20 feet away from you. You're at the sort of the front of the room. They're in the middle of the room.
Okay. I want to. I'll attack the water elemental closest to me first. I'll start there.
Okay. Go. Let's just go with number 1. Yep, that's fine.
All right. That is a 19 to hit.
Yep, that's gonna hit.
All right. And 3 damage. God.
Okay. Do you want to use any smite or anything to do that?
Oh yeah.
'Cause
Divine smite. That's a good idea. 1 spell slot, 2d8 extra, plus 1d8. So that's 8 plus. Damn, that is so cool. Oh, for each spell higher than first. Never mind.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
bonus 8 damage. And do these count as fiends?
No, they're elementals.
Okay, so 8 plus 3, that's a total of 11.
It's enough. Smash through it. That smite is radiant. Is that correct? It's not like lightning or anything.
I believe it's radiant damage.
Yeah,
Please don't
I
be
think
lightning.
it's radiant as well. Yeah, cool. Yeah, just as a
Please don't be lightning.
just a little bit of a science lesson for people. Okay, cool. That is Claude's turn. Claude, do you want to do any movement?
Yeah, without provoking opportunity attack, can I move any closer to Tommy and Zane?
No, because you smashed the one that hit you, and the other one's right there.
Okay. I am going to use a bonus action. You can choose a creature. I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on Rian,
Okay.
which gives her a +2 to AC for the rest of the duration, which is 10 minutes concentration.
Excellent. Okay. We are going to. I'm going to take a wee note just as concentration, just to test that if you do get hit. Okay. But Rian, you can take a note. Your AC is now +2 to whatever you have. Okay. Fantastic. Claude, do you want to do that movement even just to take the chance of the opportunity, or just stay where you are?
They don't hit very hard. I'll move. I just want to be within 10 feet. So if that still keeps me from taking too many of them.
So you tell me with your movement, you basically take away what 10 feet for the sloshing through the water.
Yeah, so I have 30, so that's down to 20 walking feet. So I just need to move like 5 to 10 feet to get close enough to them.
Yeah, you can get 10 feet. You can minus 10 feet gives you 20 feet. So yeah, you can move 10 feet and be within 10 feet. Okay, cool. Right, back up to the top. So initially it was like sort of a bit of a surprise round with Tommy and Zane. Now normal order again. Logan, you are now on the stairs, and it is and you're elevated from the crowd. What do you want to do?
So from looking at the picture, it looks like there's some sort of balcony in this room.
Yep.
And where is Zane in regards to that? Like, could I? Yeah, you know me. Leap off the balcony.
The simplest way to think of the room is pretty much imagine it like a 60-foot room, okay, and to kind of split into thirds for ease of memory. So there's the front, the middle, and the back. Yeah. Lower in the back is where you went down to where you could go down to the basement area. Higher up on the back is the balcony, and Zane and Tommy are in the middle. So basically, say because the balcony is a little bit further out. Say he's 10 feet in front of you, below.
All right. Okay, that changes things. All right, so then I'm just Logan is gonna continue up the stairs, just make his way up to the balcony, and hopefully Zane has his back towards me, and I'm just gonna take a shot at Zane.
Okay, fantastic. Roll for to see if you hit.
Ooh, 13.
So that's going to miss. So basically, he's kind of thrashing about. He got that long sword slash to the back. It's like, so he's like kind of leaning forward and agitated as he's moving. So it's caused that arrow to miss. Fortunately, with that one. Anything else you want to do in terms of bonus actions or?
Actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, fantastic. At this point, basically kind of seeing himself surrounded is he had a shot. He took away. He's going to try to turn and he's going to try to run back down towards the basement area. He's going to be running past Viator and the water elementals. The water elementals are not attacking him, so he's going to try to dash that way, which is just going to take him to just inside that door, unless Viator can hit him with an opportunity attack. So if you just roll a normal d20 or normal attack, whichever you want to do.
Who, me?
Yeah, he keeps saying Viator. I think it might be confusing there.
Yeah, champ. So the main guys are trying to run past you. You get attack of opportunity on them.
Oh, okay.
So you get to roll a d20 and see if you hit him.
I rolled an 8.
So a slash to that is in the moment that you were trying to take care of Tobin and get him up onto the balcony, Zane was starting to run past you, and you took a wild swipe at him and it missed. Okay, so he's not out the back door yet, but he is making his way there at the moment. Okay, Tommy.
Yeah. Okay. So how far away from me has he moved? Like 20 feet?
By 20 feet. Yeah.
Okay. I don't. I'm gonna try something here, Mr. DM, and tell me if I can't do it or not. I would like to mage hand the shell off of his hip.
Yeah. Okay.
It's up to 30 feet. So it's a cantrip. Do you want me to do a roll for sleight of hand, like if it, or does it just happen because it's mage hand? That's the part I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm going to almost whichever one's better, whether it's your attack or your sleight of hand, whichever one's better, because this is a moving target, so it's not like something just kind of sitting there. Yeah.
That's gonna be a 9.
It goes across the room, it weaves between the water elementals, it makes a grab for the conch shell, but in his dodge to get away from Viator's slash, the mage hand misses.
Okay.
So good attempt, but it did miss.
Then I'm going to because that counts as an action to do a cantrip. So I'm just gonna run after him. And I'll take, I guess, attacks of opportunity from however many things I pass.
Yeah, okay, so there's 3 of them there. So I'm going to roll these for the opportunity attacks. 19, a 3, and a 12.
The 19 hits.
19 hits, okay. And the 19 hits you for 5 points of damage.
Okay.
I can't react to a reaction attack, right?
No,
To an opportunity attack. Because if I can protect on that, I will. But if not,
what actions did you do? Did you do a bonus action? What was your faith? What was your shield of faith? What action
Shield
was
of
that?
Faith, that was a bonus action. But what I'm talking about is my reaction.
Yeah. No, I'm fine for you to do your reaction. Yeah.
Okay, so on the one that would hit, I'm going to use protection, which I can use on a target within 10 feet. If Tommy's still within 10 feet when this happens,
it'd be
gone.
too far away. Yeah.
Okay.
Just it was a good idea, but he had started to move away, and he had made the distance to the water elementals, which were because you were about 10 feet away, and then 5 feet, so 15 feet, so just out of range. So I won't let you sort of waste the spell slot or anything. But it'll be out of distance.
So what you guys kind of saw was Zane started running. Tommy starts saying, like, Tommy's like, we can't let him get away. He starts running, and his mage hand is kind of in front of him as he starts sprinting after him, he was hoping the mage hand was going to be able to grab the shell, but he's just closing distance because he doesn't want to let the captain get away.
That's it. Good. Okay. Rian, you have a bubble head of water around you. You're not panicking like a lot of other people would because you're actually still breathing and all. But you get the feeling that if you were to stay in the pressure itself would be what would be damaging you as opposed to any sort of threat of drowning. So it would be a strength saving throw if you just want to break out of it. But what's your idea?
Oh. I mean, if I can just do that.
Yeah. What's your other idea? Think it out.
I was gonna use my cantrip gust and try to push air between my skin and the water bubble to try to like force it off from inside. I'm
fine to because that basically I'm going to tell you that's going to work because it's creative. So yeah, as opposed to strength being it's not your forte. So that's just a good way just to go. You basically gusting this thing off. It's a strong cantrip. And it's giving you exactly what you need. It's giving you space to wriggle out of this constriction trap.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna get into a defensive position because I haven't been able to fully see for a minute, and I need a minute to catch up with what's going on.
That's absolutely fine. Okay. So you're just kind of getting yourself acclimatized to not being surrounded by water. Okay, cool. So with that, this particular water elemental got shunted off you, so it's going to basically just try to slam down an attack onto yourself. It's actually going to be a nat 20 as well. So let's do that.
Can I impose protection? 10 feet.
Jan? What's the protection? You gave her the shield of faith. And what's the protection?
Protection is I can impose disadvantage on an attack roll when somebody I see gets attacked.
Okay.
Disadvantage.
Okay, so that was a 19 instead of a nat 20. So it's still going to hit. Yeah, I know. I am rolling awesome here. Okay, so and it's going to hit you for 4 points of damage, Rian.
I tried.
Okay. I also have a reaction.
Go for it.
Is it too late to use it?
Nope. Because I was rushing ahead, so yeah. Don't worry about it.
I have a reaction of shield that gives me +5 bonus to the AC. Does that stack with
Yes.
the +2? Okay.
Yep.
So then that's fine. Then I should have 20 AC.
Yeah, perfect. Fine. Okay. So this thing
and I have a reaction, and you have my reaction.
So this thing looks like it's about to slam down on you, but then a combination of the shield of faith and this ethereal projection of a shield directly in front of your head, just the water slams against it and splashes around you. So that went from being 9 points of damage to 4 points of damage to 0 points of damage. So a really good combination of using all your tricks in the bag. That's exactly what we need to do. Okay. Do you want to use any movement, Rian, to get away from where you're at? It will cause an opportunity attack, but do you want to create a bit of space?
Well, I still have that AC because it stays until the next turn. I'll take a couple steps back, however many I can make in this move.
So this thing swings wildly at you and it misses. But in that moment, you do hear a voice that you've been hearing in your head for a while now. But what's different now is everybody else in the room is going to react to it as well because they now also hear Rian. You hear this guttural, deep, watery voice, and you've kind of had to get used to it because this has been the voice that's been stuck in your head for a while. But what surprises you now is that everybody else looks at it. Okay? So, You just hear this.
I'm just grabbing my head, like
Yeah.
confused and scared.
Okay. Other water elementals. So Claude, 2 of them are going to go towards you because you're basically trying to break away. That is an 18 and a 4. Does the 18 hit?
18 is my armor class exactly.
Okay, so it hits. Okay. And it's going to hit you for 6 points of damage. So it's basically slamming the back of your armor. It's more of a solid force of water. So it's not piercing or anything out there. It's like almost like a solid thump right in the back for 6 points of damage. Okay. Viator, 3 of them are going to close in on you. And it's going to be 11, 12, and 13. Do any of them hit?
No.
Okay.
16.
Okay. Cool. So all of them are swinging madly at you. None of them are going to make contact. Tommy, 2 of them are behind you. So that is 12 and 16.
16 hits.
16 hits. Do you have any reactions? Does anybody else have any reactions that they want to use? Points of damage.
Yeah. Since it does hit me, I'm going to use my reaction, use shield on myself, which
Take you 16 or over on.
Yeah, it would give me a +5 bonus to my AC, which would put me at 18.
Cool. So no damage for that. Yeah. So once again, same sort of thing, similar to rain. It's about to smash down onto you, but this ethereal projection of a shield and a light green glow just appears right in front of you and takes the full brunt of the water. And it shoots across from that there. Okay. Viator, you're at the back there. Tobin's safely on top of the bench, and there's 3 water elementals in front of you. What do you want to do?
I'll swing at the far left. I'm assuming they're in like a line.
Like a line. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll swing at the farthest left one.
Okay.
With my mace.
Yep.
16.
Yep, that's going to hit.
Okay. 7 points of damage.
Okay. And that gets halved. And half of them going to then round it up. So it's going to be 4 points of damage. You basically see this mace go straight through the middle of this guy, and it almost makes him a little bit shorter, very briefly, because you just smash a bunch of water out of the way. So it kind of dips down in height and then rebuilds itself back up. So that's going to be 4 points of damage on that one. Okay. Any movement, any bonus actions, any actions or speech, for example?
No, I'm good.
Bo, bottom of the stairs. You can, take about 5 feet to get up out of the water. That's absolutely fine. You'll be out of that. If you were to look straight down, you would see, you'd see Tommy in the middle of the room. Slightly closer to the front door, you'd see Claude, who has a water elemental right behind him. Far end of the room is water elemental and Rain closer to the room, who's now got her head in her hands. And it's a very awkward angle. You can look down towards Viator and you can see the back of the 3 water elementals that are there. And you can see Captain Zane at the very back of the room.
How far is Captain Zane? Tommy's shouting for us to go after him, so.
So you're looking about 30 feet just based on where you are in the room versus where he is in the room.
So I'm not going to be able to get to him. But Rhea. Let's see, I'm going to. I don't know, I'm invisible still. You know what? I'm gonna dash and try to get to Zane.
Okay. Yep. So gonna imagine you jump over the banister of the stairs and try to get through the water. Is that sort of way, or what are you thinking?
So yeah, what I had in mind was before, I thought I was out of the water, but I'm not quite. So I'm gonna try to get up onto banister and kind of like leap out.
Yeah. I'm going to say you pretty much are out of the water because you're right at the bottom of the stairs anyway. So don't be worried about the restriction. You're not going to take a full restriction for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So one big step up onto the banister, and you're basically going to leap forward. Okay. I'm going to ask you to do an acrobatics check because you are jumping into water. So just to kind of see if you maintain your footing as you land. In that.
That would be a 9.
Okay. Down in the water, and you basically kind of drop down onto your knee and kind of splash into the water a bit. So you will have to use basically the rest of your movement to stand up.
All right. I'm going to stand up. How close am I to them?
You're 10 to 15 feet because it's a pretty big jump. You're on the banister. You're nice and high. Big leap. Covered a lot of the distance. Say about 12 feet away.
All right. I don't know much more I can do.
He also still has his fairy fire on him, so you do still have the advantage if you did want to do something. So everybody else in the room has just seen a massive splash of water in the middle of the room for no reason whatsoever. Just this kind of a creak from the banister, and then just of water.
It's a bigger elemental.
He's doing like an Usher music video, just like breakdancing in the water.
Tommy, don't stop. You gotta stop him. I'm gonna use bardic inspiration on him. So Tommy, you have bardic inspiration now.
Tommy has his back to where you were anyway, so he's just hearing your voice. He doesn't have any reason to think why he's invisible or anything like that. There, he just hears you.
Yeah.
Is that a +6 to a roll? How's that bardic work again?
Yeah, you can, before knowing the result of the roll, you can use the inspiration die, which is a 1d6.
Okay. Roll a d6, gotcha.
Yep. So that's it for Bo. Am I still invisible at the end? I don't know.
Indeed, yep.
All right.
Okay. Claude, you're up. New turn, so new set of reactions and all that sort of stuff if you want to do anything like that there.
Okay. Claude's gonna yell at Captain Zane, and he's gonna cast command, and he's gonna yell, "Grovel!" And Captain Zane has to succeed a Wisdom saving throw. I believe the DC is 11.
Okay. He rolled a 2.
Yeah.
So right as he's about to get to the top of the stairs, he just instantly drops down onto his knees and just like to hands together, and you can see his face is incredibly confused, but his body has just gone rigid as this sort of kneeled down, half in the water. The water's up over his hips. His hands are clasped together like he's begging, and he's shaking like that because he's trying to resist this, but he's basically had to drop down onto his knees, so he's stuck where he is at the moment.
Nice.
Tommy's very confused seeing it, but fucking loves it. Like it's the best thing he's ever seen to see this captain down on his knees like a little.
So just to confirm, so it says target falls prone and then ends its turn. So on his next turn, he won't be able to do anything. He'll just end automatically. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. In that case, so that was my action. I'm not sure if I have anything. Yeah, I don't really have a bonus action that can do anything. So I'll. How many elementals do I have around me? 2?
Yep, 2.
I'll stay. I'll stay where I am.
Okay. At that point, you just hear a deep voice from behind you down the hallway, and you just say, well. I'm not the only oath breaker in this house, I see.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. Did you hear it at all? No?
Yeah, I heard it.
You're reacting. Oh, you're reacting. Okay, sorry. So many mic issues. I'm really conscious. Okay, yeah. So I'm not the only oath breaker in this house. And you basically, in your sort of next turn, you're kind of turning around to see where that sort of voice is coming from. Okay. Logan, you're up. You are still on the banister. You saw Captain Zane run underneath the balcony. Sorry, not the banister. You're on the balcony. You saw Captain Zane run underneath the balcony, so you can't see him. So you just see water elementals and the rest of your team.
I don't have too much to do here.
Can I throw something out there? And DM, you can stop me if you want. Is there a way to ask him to hold his turn for something that I want to do that needs him? Or does he have to say why he holds the turn?
So you do get a speech action in here, but you got to be really concise with it. You're not going to be able to have a full conversation back and forth with him. You got to give like a one-line instruction because it's almost like a reaction.
Yeah.
I know it's not a hard and fast rule, but you don't get like a minute to go, here, Logan, what I'm thinking is when I do this, you do that. Blah, 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 blah,
exactly.
Blah, blah.
Okay. Yeah. Then never mind. I can't. Never mind. Forget it then.
You just want
to can't convey it quickly.
Hold on. I'll hold on.
No. Keep doing because I can't explain in a like. Because I don't even know what the thing I'm trying to do. I don't know if it's going to happen, so I can't explain a maybe to you in a one sentence thing. So never mind.
I want to see what happens.
You do whatever you were going to do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
What I had to do is boring, but all right. The water elemental that Tell swung his mace at did the damage to. I just want to shoot an arrow at that guy.
Okay, perfect. Go for it.
21 for hit.
Yeah. And roll for damage.
13.
Yeah. And then even with half of that, with it being piercing damage, it's enough to bring him down. So just straight through that, it disappears, and there doesn't seem to be any disturbance of the water, so it's not like it's sucked into the water to move around. Almost like a splash, like a water balloon popping. That's the way the water kind of dissipates. Okay.
And I'm just gonna hold position for now.
Hold position. Okay, just in your sniper's nest. Very good. Yep. Okay. Claude, your command, is that concentration?
I don't believe it is. Let me double check. There's no concentration in the.
It doesn't say it. That's okay. Cool. I'm just making sure it mixes with the faith that you'd said earlier on. Is there a way to resist that during his turn?
I think it says it works for one round.
For one round. Okay.
Commands. You may.
Yeah.
If the target can't follow your command, the spell ends. Is the only thing that.
Yeah, that's fine. No, he can keep doing that. So he's resisting as much as possible. So he's not like verbally groveling, but he's physically groveling. Like he's on his knees, he's in the water, his hands are clasped together. It probably takes a very, very strong will to even prevent doing that part, not doing the complete groveling act. But it is physically holding his body in place, and he's stuck there for his turn. So that's his turn there. Tommy.
All right, since he's no longer moving, I can close the distance with my movement, and then
close the distance. And because Logan hit the one on the far left, there's a clear path for you to do that without opportunity attacks.
Sweet. So I go right up to him, and can I just grab the shells? Because since he can't, or can he still grapple or whatever? No.
It's like hands are clasped together in a groveling sort of motion. You're able just to grab the shell.
I grab the shell, and then with my action, I stab the shell with the rapier.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic.
This. Oh, do you need me to roll or?
No, it's right there. It's right there in your hand. You're not going to miss it.
You don't never know with Tommy, but yeah.
Okay, and with that, more of the water elemental kind of drop to the ground. Okay, in that moment, three of them kind of burst, like you saw before. Okay, the other 5 sink into the water, right? and very unnaturally looking, this water just completely recedes back out of the building. Okay, so really, this is not a natural tide. It almost is like sucked out along the ground, back towards the door area. Don't know why that one is going up there.
Just replace it with
okay. Yeah. What you do see now is a figure outside the house, sucking up the water into this massive sphere of water right outside the building. Okay? And from that ball of water, you once again hear as a humanoid figure steps out from underneath the water. Rian, you recognize this figure from your nightmares, from your trauma, from your experience. You know that this is the humanoid form of Kisera on the land, slowly approaching the building.
Does the humanoid form look anything like the woman that was in my spirit walking thing in the dirt?
Yeah, that's exactly who it is. This is exactly the woman that you helped on that beach all that time ago, and now has taken on this form that you now know that you helped Kisera unknowingly at the time. But one person in the group has been distracted by something that's not Kisera. It's by a looming dark figure that right before we end today's session comes down the hallway and says to Claude, I broke but one oath in my life, to have and to hold in sickness and in health, but she got in my way. Oathbreaker Nelson Marcel approaches down the hallway, sword at the ready, staring down Claude at the other end of the hallway, as the group now have a groveling Charles Zane at one corner of the room, and Oathbreaker Nelson Marcel at the far end of the hallway, and an encroaching Kisera from the streets.
The son of a bitch killed my mother.
Let's see what happens in our next session. But thank you very much for dealing with all the technical nonsense. But let's leave it as we always do, which is ready for more.
Excellent.